Hello there, everybody. Elise Enriquez, Purpose and Productivity Coach here with you. And I'm going to talk about a tricky little topic. It is why I hate affirmations. And I don't use that word very often. I might use it to only talk about spiders and water chestnuts. My mom taught me that I'm not allowed to hate people. I can hate activities and behaviors or things, but I can't hate people. So I don't hate people, I hate affirmations. And so I want to talk a little bit about that today. So I've never been a fan of daily affirmations. That might be the softer, gentler way to say this. And you know what those are, right? They are those statements that we tell ourselves to help spark some sort of self-change. And they're designed to alter our beliefs about ourselves such that those beliefs are more positive. So some examples are my life is fun and rewarding. I'm a smart and capable and can accomplish anything. I'm grateful for everything I have. And I think you guys know that I'm a fairly positive person. So it might seem strange for me to say that I'm not a big fan of affirmations. My life is fun and rewarding. That's a great thing to say, especially when you're feeling that way. And I'm smart and capable of accomplishing anything. That's an awesome mindset to have. I'm grateful for everything I have, sure. But let's face it, we don't always feel that way about things and about life. So I'm not really against affirmations if they work for you. So if they work for you, go ahead and stop listening, stop watching right now and just, go away because you might not want to hear the rest of this. But if, like me, you've never quite gotten the hang of affirmations, then maybe stick around to hear the 3 reasons why I'm not a big fan of them myself. One is that they're just one tool in the mental health toolbox. And unfortunately, they're a really easy tool. So I think a lot of people go to them really easily. It's one of those things where when you have a hammer, everything you see is a nail. And so if that's your only tool in your toolbox is affirmations, then you might need a more well-equipped toolbox. There's things like personal reflection and gratitude and getting feedback from other people and learning and talk therapy and journaling. So there's a lot more tools than just affirmations. And like I said, that can be such an easy tool that for some people, it's the only one that they really use. So they just keep telling themselves over and over again, I'm a highly capable person that can do anything, when maybe they're not really feeling that way. So the second reason I don't love affirmations is they reinforce this idea that positive thinking is all you need, similar to the only tool in the toolbox kind of thing. So a lot of people think of this as mindset. And sometimes your mindset is actually just fine. If you're excessively berating yourself in your head, or if you're excessively blaming other people, kind of 2 ends of the spectrum, blaming others for your problem, where excessive really just means more than is helpful to you, then mindset adjustments are absolutely necessary. But the thing is, our brains are wired to warn us and scare us. So often our affirmations are, doing affirmations are just a way of blasting a mindset radio station with Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves, on endless loop, while your brain is doing its job of protecting you by blasting this kind of doom and gloom radio at all times. And so what's happening is you're just getting a lot of noise and not necessarily a lot of relief or even a lot of progress. Not to mention the fact that living a life worth living means sometimes you're going to have low points in life, and sometimes you're going to have hard days, and sometimes you're going to have hard feelings. I had a client that I was working with that was going through a genuinely hard time. If I told you everything that they had been dealing with, you would say, of course that makes sense. Gosh, I would be having a hard time too. They're feeling sad and angry and scared and frustrated, and you'd say, yes, totally get that. I would feel like that too. But they were thinking there was something wrong with their mindset. And this person is one of all the people I've worked with, has one of the best mindsets I've ever engaged. Not because they're a Pollyanna, but because they're just willing to try and learn and fail and grow and not beat themselves up for it and not blame other people. They just keep going at it. So a mindset shift wasn't necessary for that client. What was necessary for them was to just, well, actually, I'll tell you what it was. It leads to the next one. That sometimes affirmations, what they can do is they can lead to you charging ahead when you really should pause. So this client really just needed to pause and feel those hard feelings, make room for them. Because charging ahead with the positive, affirmations going on is kind of a form of denial, really. It's using action to numb how you're really feeling. And so for that client, pushing pause to actually feel what they were feeling was the best thing for them. It's what they really needed. And it led to a shift, and it led the ability to take a different kind of action than they were taking before. And so sometimes another reason is that you're, this whole kind of idea of charging ahead, sometimes you're trying really hard at something and it's just not working, and saying, I'm smart and capable of accomplishing anything over and over again while just like continuing to bang your head against the same old obstacles is kind of foolish, and it doesn't make sense. It might make sense to pause and take stock of things and ask for help and do a bit of a reality check and explore other solutions. And other times it's helpful to pause and ask yourself, is this a path I really want to keep going down? And so if you're stuck in this affirmation loop all the time, you can forget to do that. So as I said before, if affirmations work for you, keep doing them. In fact, make them the best that you can. I found some good articles on good affirmation writing. But if they haven't been working for you, then I would consider a different approach. I would figure out how to make room for those unpleasant feelings so you can actually feel them rather than suppressing them. Then take a moment to take stock of that current reality. Just do a nice quick reality check and accept what you're finding, and not judge it. Then tap into your values and think about, who do you want to be, regardless of how everybody else is acting and regardless of how everything else is happening in the world around you. Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? And then take action in line with those values. And if you need help with this, I highly recommend this book by Russ Harris. It's called The Happiness Trap: How to Stop Struggling and Start Living. I think I first picked up this book at the recommendation of a fellow coach, probably almost 10 years ago. What I love about this book, it helps you understand how your brain works and how it's kind of constantly battling you, and it helps give you tools to work with your brain and to identify what those values are and to help you take action in line with those values. And if you're not a book person and you just want help with this, then reach out and contact me, and we'll figure out how to help you take a different approach if affirmations aren't working for you. So that's all. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.